Rise and shine. It is time to get the day started with the morning show of record for the homestead community. It is the Farm2Table Direct Show morning edition. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rebecca. You were in first this morning. Glad to see you here with us. Hope all is going well today for everyone. And welcome in to Open Chat Friday, where you get to determine the discussion of the day. Comments in the chat will be the driving conversation today. Once we move past the reality Smackdown and this day in history. Good morning, Robbie. Glad to see you back with us. Yeah, I didn't see you yesterday, and I remembered you told me Thursdays you're out. So, yeah, good to have you back with us. And anyway, it was quite a chatty day yesterday, so we'll see how it goes today. But let's check and see. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, bud? Uh, Anyway, glad to see you in with us as always. My morning crew. That's what's been nicknamed here. All of y'all that are gracious enough to be in this morning, in the mornings early with us, our regulars, the morning crew. Anyway, let's go on over and to Dyer Family Farm for the Redneck Weather Report.
Well, good morning, Rednecks. It is 41 degrees, got 11 mile an hour west wind, making it feel like 36. It's January the 31st, 2025, and we're going to get to 59 degrees today. God bless y'all. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All righty, all righty. Good morning, Joey. Glad to see you in with us this morning. Uh, Almost have the morning crew complete. The guys are jumping on early, but anyway, uh, it is, as I said, it is Open Chat Friday, where you, the listener, that's here that participate, wants to get to determine the discussion of the day once we clear past the reality Smackdown and day in history. Hey, good morning there, Brian. Glad to see you with us this morning. I hope things are going well up in just a little bit north of it. Let's see, it'd be, I guess, almost due west of me, honestly. But anyway, good to see you this morning. And anyway, we're going to get right into the headlines and see what's going on. All righty, all righty. Canada and Mexico to be hit with 25% tariffs on Saturday. See how well that's going to go. By the way, for those who don't know, they are China, Canada, and Mexico are the three biggest importers to goods to the U.S. So that'll be interesting. See what happens there. U.S. reports first outbreak of H5N9 bird flu in poultry. Haven't researched out that particular strand, but it was. I do know it was on a duck farm in California, and apparently this was back several weeks ago. They've taken care of it, I guess. Probably their usual way of killing, just kill all the birds. But anyway, so it is in ducks now. So the H5N9. I'm gonna have to research that strand and see what that one's all about. Anyway, moving on, the president signed executive orders prohibiting ideological indoctrination in K through 12 schools, promoting universal school choice in every state, and prohibiting anti-Semitism on college campuses. Just some of the many executive orders that he has popped up on here in the last since he's been in office. Things are getting sketchy. CDC ordered to immediately stop working with WHO. That is the World Health Organization. Uh, and let's see. President Trump gave a brief, briefing yesterday about the crash in Washington D.C. Prayers for all those families of those that were lost. And anyway, official aviation experts zeroing in on the flight altitude of the military helicopter. We'll see what comes out of that. And let's see, Senate Judiciary Committee questioned Kash Patel on his nomination yesterday, along with let's see, Tulsi Gabbard was part of her question yesterday, and another day of the one we're all paying attention to, RFK Jr. Got a little heated. yesterday as he shot back at Bernie Sanders and others about their cash that they take from the pharmaceutical industries. Anyway, and finally, a federal appeals court ruled yesterday that a decades-old government prohibition of handgun sales by licensed firearm dealers to adults under 21 is unconstitutional in light of recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings that set a higher bar for restricting Second Amendment rights. Win for the home team right there. Anyway, uh, I'm over 21, but that's beside the point. Anyway, so that was our reality Smackdown. Now moving on to this day in history. 1865, Congress passes by a vote of 121 to 24 the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, abolishing slavery in the United States except as punishment for a crime. Yeah, 121 to 24. So those 24 holdouts. Anyway, big day in history there with that, with Congress passing that vote. 1874, Jesse James gang robs a train at Gads Hill, Missouri. Morning, Troy. Glad to see you in with us, buddy. And 1905, let's see, we went from, Jesse James gang robs, yep. Then in 1905, first automobile to exceed 100 miles per hour. British daredevil Arthur McDonald drives a Napier six-cylinder racing car named Samson on sands of Daytona Beach, Florida, notching a top speed of 104 miles an hour. Uh, that was moving along pretty fast in those days. But anyway, 19. We're gonna jump forward a little bit. I like that. I always like how we jump forward in time on these things. But anyway, 1949. First U.S. daytime soap on TV. These Are My Children. NBC in Chicago. I wonder if that's the one that morphed into All My Children. I don't know. But anyway, 1949, first day. Anyway, 1990, first McDonald's in the Soviet Union opens in Moscow. I remember that. The lines were crazy. Them people were going insane over the old quarter. Well, I don't think they called it a quarter pounder, but they were definitely going wild. And I've long said, you want to tear down a regime, you want to tear down a government like that. I don't think it was Ronald Reagan. I don't think it was Gorbachev. I don't think it was anything. They brought McDonald's, Coca-Cola. You throw in nowadays, throw in a Walmart, but send over some McDonald's and some Coca-Cola. New people get so happy they think they want more. It just destroys everything. Tear a whole excuse me, whole government down right there. Anyway, just my thoughts on it. But anyway, 2006, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor retires and is replaced by Samuel Alito. That was a major shift in the Supreme Court, 2006. 2019, U.S. Border Agency seizes its biggest ever fentanyl bust, nearly 254 pounds, hidden in a tractor trailer in Nogales, Arizona. So wow, that's a whole lot of fentanyl. Anyway, dangerous stuff right there. A real plague on society. But anyway, and for 2024, Caitlin Clark posts 35 points, 10 assists for Iowa against Northwestern, breaking the Big Ten all-time scoring record. So that is this day in history. And so now we are moving into Open Chat Friday. So I don't know, you guys, we've had some shows this week and had some interesting topics. There's a lot of news going on in the world, so y'all tell me what's something y'all would comments on anything from the week, or comments on anything else that y'all read, or what's going on. In fact, I'll go ahead if Brian with Okie Farm is still on with me. Brian, how's things going in Oklahoma and everything with the raw milk legislation? We haven't talked in a couple of weeks or so, and however long it's been now, I haven't talked in a little while. I want to see how things were going up on y'all's end of the world. where are things at on that? If there's room in a paragraph there, short paragraph. But anyway, um, so well, okay. Let's see. I'll give that delay. I know there's a little bit of a delay on this. We'll give it a couple of seconds to see what happens here. Uh, but I'll tell you, I'm gonna just I'll poke the bear a little bit here. Not really, but I was thinking about yesterday. It's like, what's something to talk about on Open Friday? And I like Open Friday because it kind of takes me off the hook just a little bit. I do the news headlines that I pick and the history stuff, but then it gets into this part and it's just kind of free form. Uh, Things that pop into my mind or y'all put over in the chat. Um, but something as I was driving yesterday and working, I got to thinking about some of the things that we've lost. We're in 2025, and kind of a lot of things going on politically in the world, and a lot of things up in arms, this, that, and the other. But I wonder what are some of the things we've lost in society, as a society, uh, in the last, uh, you know, depending on which generation you talk to, because I think every generation says the generation behind them is the worst ever, and or that the two generations, and they've, this, that, or the other, and there may be some truth, but I think it's something that happens. But things we've lost, and or at least they're very rare. Now our generations or older generations, mine, maybe not so much, but in the younger generations, the generation coming out. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pull this up so everybody can see this. This is Okie Farm and Feed, Brian, and we have legislation proposed, and it is moving through the process. We are gaining support from legislators. Awesome news right there. Awesome news, and I'm glad to hear that. And we are going to, in fact, I may talk to Keith. We're working on some of what we're going to do Tuesday for Tuesday's show, and this may be something that we bring back up. For those who don't know, I know not everybody here lives in Oklahoma, but it still affects you in a sense because every state has legislation or laws on the books. Arkansas has a bill that is supposed to be moving through as well about raw milk sales, and things of that nature. Because as many of you know, it has been under fire recently. It's been the scapegoat. They've been attacking it for good grief, almost 100 years. But um, more recently, it's come up in connection with avian influenza, HPAI, bird flu, dairy cows, etc. And Yet they can't prove any links to it. They just want to crash it. Well, Oklahoma had laws that restricted it to on-farm sales only, limited the number of gallons per month that a farmer could sell, and it also limited them to advertisement. They couldn't advertise it. They couldn't do some stuff, and so some legislation. Brian was asked. He connected in there, and we worked with him just briefly on it. And we'll be there when needed again. And part of that is gaining support from the people of the great state of Oklahoma. So I would say that if you want to see raw milk sales expanded, if you want some of these restrictions taken away and more favorable to the farmers, reach out to your state legislators, reach out to your state senators, for the state of Oklahoma, reach out to your state representatives, reach out to your people, and let them know your support of this. Put the word behind it anywhere you can, because one or two people are just not going to be able to make this happen. It's going to take pressure from the people. It's going to take voices from the people in the state, and it's the same thing in Arkansas or any other state. We've got Arkansas has legislation moving through that will allow, because we have a higher threshold. I think, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Oklahoma is restricted to 100 gallons a month. And I think that's one of the things that we had discussed trying to get raised. Arkansas has 500 gallons, so they've got a higher threshold, but it's still on farm sales only and still not allowed to advertise, that type of thing. And there's a push going. Got started by a market over here, some people, to allow it off sales farms as well, to be sold at like a retail type place, like a farm hub or a farm store, that kind of place like that. Um, and I need to pull it back up one day and get back into it. We need to do a follow up on raw milk and see where things are at, catch everybody up. But this is, you know, my thing is, I know Brian and his wife Ginger. They've been, they've been drinking raw milk for a couple of decades now, and I know some other, other people I know, and I ain't gonna say I wouldn't, just saying I haven't. I can't remember. Probably as a child, I guess the last time I had any. But um, for me, it's not so much about whether I want to or don't want to. It's about the fact that we don't need to hinder. Uh, okay, a cow. Okay, I want to bring this over. This is the current restriction: cow 400 gallons and a goat 200 gallons. Okay, that's man, that's a lot of goat milking. But anyway, cows 400 gallons. I mean, it sounds like a lot. But I mean, if you've got a customer base, I imagine that can go through pretty quick. But either way, it's a restriction. And for those who may just be jumping on, currently we're talking about raw milk legislation in the state of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Um, and I encourage you to look in your state. It's real easy to find out. Some states prohibit it at all; they completely restrict it. California, of all states, doesn't. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere trying to, but so if California can get this right, if they can figure out that there's good things in raw milk and it's healthy, then surely we can out here in the heartland of America. But the what I was going with is it's just a freedom. I hate restriction of things like this, restriction of business, restriction of enterprise between consenting adults and a farmer. Got a dairy farm and they're selling milk, and I want to buy it. We should, and we're both informed and making a decision. I just really don't think they should be restricting that. But that's me. When it comes to laws and it comes to legalities, I'm probably leaning a little bit more to the libertarian side of less government is good, and less restrictions and less laws. And we're over restricted, over legalized, and uh, but so that's good. I'm glad to know that we're moving through the process. And again, Brian, let Keith and I know if there's what we can do to help. Uh, I will I will remind him. When he gets on later, or when I talk to him here later this morning, that we probably need to do a follow up with you. I know we had, trying to figure out a time that we can do some stuff, our schedule and your schedule. But anyway, so I'll hit that in his ear to do a follow up. So where I was going, and before that, things we've lost, and in this younger generation, it appears. Uh, and There we go. Well, Joey, I would have never asked. But anyway, no, one of the things that's taught you don't ask a woman her age. And that's some of the things we've lost. But anyway, and raw milk has never made me sick or anything. Agreed. I've yet to meet anybody. Now, they may be out there, but I've yet to meet anybody that can tell me. Of course, I haven't talked to everybody. Uh, but everybody I have talked to about raw milk that's drank it and stuff have all had the same thing. They don't get sick. It's not made them sick. They've never had a problem. Um, I could see, like I said, if you've never had it, like I haven't had it in decades, uh, there might be some adjustment period to it. I don't, I'm not a huge milk drinker anyway, but I could see some adjustments to it. Maybe my stomach getting used to it, the gut biome kind of reacting differently. But to actually say it made me sick, I'd be shocked. But anyway, um, something that some things we've lost. Well, one thing that came to my mind yesterday, and it's driven in a lot of different ways, but it's honestly, it's work ethic. We have lost work ethic in this country. Um, this younger generation go through a drive-through or go through a store, you know, where younger people, the younger generation is there. And I'll just be honest with you, if you find one that's doing their job and really is actually putting work ethic. They're not just whatever, and you know, then it's shocking. I had some recent encounters with that at world's largest retailer, and I'll have to be honest with you, I wasn't real thrilled. It kind of chapped me a little bit, but just that dismissive attitude of like whatever with workers, and just that's one thing. Um, Honestly, manners, uh, social manners, socialization skills. Um, have severely declined. I would say partly probably due to social media, texting, things of that nature, the briefness of it. But so finding a young person that has conversation skills and the ability to articulate and carry a conversation, um, but then manners, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, being polite to people, uh, you opening doors, holding doors, things of that nature. I think those are things that they're not dead, they're not gone, but they're definitely disappearing, and that's a shame. Let's see things we've lost. Keith brought this up in conversation yesterday, which was common sense. Uh, I can't disagree with that one. I don't know how common sense was uh, anyway, but as I have uh, looked back over some of the things that have happened in the last 50 to 100 years. Good morning, bro. Glad to see you in with us. But anyway, if you look back over the last number of years, you kind of wonder maybe common sense disappeared a long time ago. So but it is and I would say skill sets. You know, there's a whole big range of people out there. We've talked about homesteading skill sets and things that we've lost along the way because it wasn't passed down, or the generation gap that it didn't happen. Mechanical skills for crying out loud. Simply how to check oil or how to change a tire on a car, or I mean, some of those things that are just man, it's crazy what is happening. Now, something that I'm going to touch one that's a little sensitive to me, but is because you look over my shoulder there and you see that plaque with the military branches, and little flag there, and all gave some and some gave all. That was a gift from my son-in-law. He does wood carving and woodworking and things of that nature. And anyway, he but and that is how should we say? I won't say respect to the military, but lack of interest in military service has waned. Now that goes up and down. In the post 9/11 era, I was, a few years after that, I was a recruiter for the Army for a period of time, and things were pretty easy because man, people were just walking in the doors. I mean, it was the patriotism level, if you want to call it that, but the interest was high, and so it made life a little bit easier. But of course, now things have waned. Generations have changed. Political leadership, political environment has changed. Um, I'm hopeful that our new Secretary of Defense will put the brakes on and maybe try to make some reversals in policies and try to get things back on track. But there's been a recent years, number of years now, quite some time. Um, I have a harder and harder time when somebody asks me about joining the military, joining in any branch. You know, what that would be. So our trust and our respect in that, or our fear for our children, and in the political environment. But trust is what's been lost. Trust in institutions, trust in age-old ways. I was raised, repeatedly told, that the military was a good place to go. Military was a good career. Military was a good place to go. Service to your country was a good thing. And I enlisted during a heightened time of patriotism, the first Gulf War. So I can understand the compassion, but it was already on my mind long before those events happened. As a way to, uh, you know, a good not only giving back but also just a good career, and I don't think that's happening now. something that's on the rise that we had lost for a while, and that was interest in the trade skills. I think that was something that was lost for a period of time. It's coming back. Um, and of course, would be remiss to not bring up uh, homesteading skills, i.e., gardening, and you know the things that rural farm life maybe taught, things that were different. You know, a generation. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that the things we talk about as homesteading skills were just everyday living skills, and uh, generations moved away from it, didn't pass it down, uh, and now we're having to bring it back. So, and hats off to those of y'all that are doing it, that have been doing it, and continue to do it. But anyway, those are just kind of some of the things I think we lost along the way. But definitely, it's up to us to turn that tide and go back the other way. And the homesteading movement, the homeschooling movement, the natural food movement, getting back to caring about where our food comes from, where our medicines come from, where our health care, all those things, getting back to those things, and trying to reverse, things and go back to the old ways that worked. I think is a thing on the rise, and I think it's a good thing for us. And I think we need to be supportive of anybody doing that. But anyway, wow. Anyway, I want to thank you, Brian, for the update on the legislation in Oklahoma. Like I said, Keith and I are behind you on that. So whatever we need, any way we can help, and we'll continue to raise the flag and make people aware. But anyway, with that, as I look up at the ticker on the clock, there we're waning down into the final few minutes. Uh, Here we go. Let's see, and I think that's a war we're fighting now, bringing back everything we lost. Let's see. Joy's comment here. Respect military men and women. Still agree that women has no place in combat. Support personnel is awesome. Um, and Joy, as somebody who spent a career in the military, and as somebody who's a dad, uh, I would agree. Now, uh, I always, since you brought it, I'll go ahead and spend a minute on it. Women have been in combat as long as there's been combat. Now, having a lead role, being in our modern military, being in what they call the combat arms, being in infantry, artillery, tankers, front line, if you will, you know, roles. Yeah, I've got concerns with that, and it's not a concern of uh, disregard of a mental, of ability, yay or nay. It's the logistics, it's the headache. I'll be honest with you, and it's this is going to put me in some hot water with some people. The fact of the matter is, with exceptions, because there is exceptions to everything, but as a general rule, women are not as physically strong as men. Um, their mental capacity, their mental frame of mind, the way they think, operates different than men do. It's just a simple thing that men and women are different. And what I have seen is that when you put a woman into that role, uh, by nature, the men want to protect because that's how we're taught. It's ingrained in men to protect the woman. Um, And then also, like I said, there's just a lot of logistical things that are different between men and women when it comes to the military, i.e., showers, i.e., hygienal needs, et cetera, et cetera. But the roles that they are able to perform, they are most of the time doing great. And again, it comes down to the individual and what their work ethic is and what their personal ethic is. Now, you know, where I have had my problems is where standards get lowered in order to make it possible. That's a problem that affects military readiness. Um, but I worked with some I worked with some really cool women, some great women, good soldiers. When I was in the military, they were good soldiers. They were hard workers. I had the exact opposite. I had some that, you know, they wasn't in the right place for them. You know, but as far as the frontline combat roles, I understand exactly what you're saying, Joey, and I agree with you. Uh, but however, anybody that puts that uniform on can be in quote, quote, combat. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter what your job support role is, when bullets are flying and bombs are exploding, that's combat. Um, they still have to deploy. They still have to do these jobs. So, uh, and a lot of them do them very. Most of them, the majority do it very, very well. But I agree with your concept of uh, the combat role per se, as in like infantry and things like that. I would agree. So, for all you ladies out there that are listeners or fans, friends of the channel, hats off to you. I appreciate your service. I'm glad you were there. It's not. Uh, Men should not be alone in a room too. I'm going to leave. Okay, here's the following category. Uh, uh, anyway, okay, Brad, I'm going to hit that one there. Yeah, let's move on from my brother. I don't disagree with you, bro. Anyway, we need to get together and update on several homestead type proposals. Absolutely. Yeah, we do. We need to get together and talk. And since Keith is in now, he can see that comment. We can work on that. Me and him will talk a little bit later. So anyway, but thanks for the comments, everybody. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up and get out of here for the morning. Uh, but listen, like I said, to all the women out there that may listen that have been in the military, have served, hats off to you. I appreciate you. I had plenty. I had good soldiers underneath me that were women. I worked alongside some good soldiers that were women, and I worked with good and bad. Some males and females that shouldn't have been there, couldn't hack the mustard. So, uh, I, uh, I, you know, so we'll leave that alone as far as that. But just I understand that I'm not on board with them in those particular roles as well for a lot of reasons, and having, like I said, spent time in and around all of the above. So, but anyway, enough of that. We are going to get on. Let's move on. So I can wrap this up and get everybody out of here, and I got to get to work. Before we go, tip of the day. Yes, we cannot move past without tip of the day. Tip of the day. Now, we're going to have two tips this morning. Anyway, it's Friday. I want to get you two to get you out the door. First tip of the day. If you find a toilet in your dreams, don't use it. Just saying. Take that for what it is. But anyway, seriously though, real tip. Uh, uh, you didn't throw me under the bus. I'll go ahead and share this. I agree with you, Ryan. Sorry if I threw you under the bus. No, not under the bus at all. No, I don't mind. I'm open with my opinion. I shared that opinion when I was when I was still in the army. So, no, you didn't throw me under the bus at all, Joey. And if being controversial is, tagged on me, I'll be all right with it. Anyway, real tip of the day: don't compromise on your water. If you're homestead farming, wherever, even in your own house, don't compromise on your water. You have to have water. Water is life. Your animals need it if you're raising animals. Your crops need it if you're raising crops. You need it, and do not compromise on your water. If you're looking for land, the water must be there. You know, oh, y'all guys have got it going this morning. Right. Uh, you don't want a waterbed? I remember those when I was a kid, and yeah, no, I don't want a waterbed. uh, but thanks for that, Robbie. I appreciate it. Anyway, so yeah, don't compromise on your water. Anyway, so there's your tips of the day. Yeah, I don't want a waterbed. Yeah, no kidding. Uh, uh, Anyway, upcoming events. I found out about this one yesterday, and it is coming up very, very soon, a couple of weeks. February 15th. Robbie, this ain't terribly far from you. February 15th, Southwest Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Nashville, Arkansas. That's put on by Pike and one other county. Their extensions. There's going to be some speakers. Anyway, you can search that out. Go to their page. I think it's free if you. It's $10, and you got to sign up for the different classes or whatever. I'm not sure. I read it. I just don't have it pulled up in front of me. But anyway, that is Southwest Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Nashville, Arkansas, February 15th. Uh, February 21st and 22nd, Homesteaders of Iowa, Expo 2025, Bridgeview Center in Ottawa, Iowa. Monty Shrunk, our friend from the Suburban Sodbuster, will be there. March 1st, Boston Mountain Homesteading Workshop from 8:15 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 1st in Chester, Arkansas. That's also on Facebook. Search that one out. And March 21st and 22nd, Okie Homestead Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets on sale now, $50 for a 2-day pass. Look forward to seeing many of you there. And that's going to be a good time. And it is closing in. Let me see. Let's see, 20, 48, 49 days. Wow. I think we're under 50 now. Anyway, closing in on Okie. You can find them on Facebook as well, Okie Homestead Expo and Okie Homesteading Expo. Homestead Expo. Just search it out. You can find it. Arkansas Homesteading Conference, March 29th, Cleveland County Fairgrounds, Horizon, Arkansas. $20 for adults, 17 and under free. Thank you, Robbie, for sending me over the flyer on that. I'm trying to figure out, and I can probably build some scenes here on our program. We'll try to get up where I can share these flyers and stuff on the screen when I get them. But anyway. So that one's in Rising, Arkansas. It's, I think, their third or fourth year now there as well. But anyway, the Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th, 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo, Jasper, Arkansas. Then jumping into June, the Homestead Festival at Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That's on Rory Feek's place. He puts that on June 6th and 7th. $75 general admission. Kids 6 to 17, $25. Ozark Homestead Expo, Marshfield, Missouri, September 5th and 6th. General admission, $50. Kids 13 to 7, $15. 12 and under free, but must have a ticket. And then Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, Southeast Expo Center, McAllister, Oklahoma, September 26th and 27th. That's $15. That's our great event. Hopefully, more people can make it out this year. We had a good year last year. As that continues to grow. And anyway, and then Homesteaders of America Conference 2025, Front Royal, Virginia, October 10th and 11th. Tickets on sale now, $50 for 2-day passes. And those are still available, but they will sell out quickly. And folks, that is all. And that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining in as we explore headlines and stories impacting our world for now and in the future. I enjoyed this morning's show, and if you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. If you will look down in the description, if you're interested, we have two particular PDFs down there and the links to them. One is the local grocery list, and the other one is how to source foods local. They're over in the comments right now. As my brother, it's the Farm2Table Direct Show, posted those there, but they're also down in the description. So some little links there to help you out, and more things coming in that direction. And also Tuesday coming up, we have our 7 o'clock live, but I will be back Monday morning. Got to look at the work schedule. It may be Memorex. I don't know, but work schedules are kind of ugly starting the week. But anyway, we will look forward to being back to it. Help you all have a great weekend. It is the best way to stay connected. Help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community with us. Until next time, keep your roots deep, your vision growing. Good food starts with great people. And remember, we are stronger together. Hashtag be a blessing to someone today. And guys, it was fun hanging out this morning. Some good laughs. I look forward to next week getting back into it. We'll get into some different headlines and see what's happened over the weekend. Anyway, y'all have a great day and have a great weekend. Some of us have got some sunshine coming. Hopefully, get some of those DIY honeydews and all that taken care of. But anyway, we will see you all on the other side. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I'm going to send this over to Hank.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.